right, folks. Here we are back with another round. Season 2 USRA. It is just going to be me in the booth tonight, John Ross. We are going to broadcast this race to you. We are going to show you every wreck, every battle, every door slamming, wheel-to-wheel fight that we can find you here at Circuit of the Americas. Welcome to another fantastic Thursday night GT3 racing here at USRA. As we always do, we are going to put on one heck of a show for you. Certainly appreciate everybody out there in chat. Let's hear for your favorite drivers. Let me know who that is. Let's talk about them and highlight them throughout the night like we always do. We're going to hop on board with some of these drivers, see what it's like to take a lap around Circuit of the Americas here at COTA. It is going to be a nice day. The sun is shining. There is no rain in the forecast, and we are going to bring you a heck of a show. Now, let's get some of the housekeeping out of the way. Let's take a look at the schedule here for Season 2. We're going to pop that up on the screen. You can see we are right there, Circuit Americas. And folks, that means after tonight, we are halfway done with this season. Season 2 already halfway done. Then we're going to go in the admin's choice. Then we're going to Red Bull and Barcelona right there at Catalunya, Charlotte, and then Interlagos to wind this thing up here at Season 2. But we have a lot of racing before that happens, as we've got these drivers out here on the track, turning laps and qualifying. Now, let's go over to your points. Let's take a look at where they stand. In that Pro Division, you can see there at that top left-hand corner of your screen, you can see those Pro Division drivers. That is going to be your leader, Michael Odell. We just heard from Odell there in the chat. Will not be here tonight, actually racing there in real life there at Mid-Ohio. We certainly wish him the very best of luck there. Alex is going to be in second, 77 points behind Odell, so he's certainly going to make up some ground. Ben Lawrence right there in third, Jeff Perchowski in fourth, Michael Hickman in fifth, Ernie Francis Jr. picking up that win last week in a fantastic battle between him and Odell. Going to be there in sixth, and then Trevor, with only one start here on the season, is going to be there in seventh. In your Pro Sport Division, Grayson Trexler, 2 wins on this season, is going to be number one. That is your leader. 45 points behind is last week's winner, Wade Moskowitz. Looks like Wade right now third on the board here in qualifying, so he has a good run going already. John Houston is going to be there in third, Patrick Rich in fourth, Kurt in fifth, Alexi's going to be in sixth, Cole in seventh, and then Garrison there in eighth. Brzezowski is going to be in ninth. I believe Brzezowski is here with us. He is right now sixth on the grid, so he is certainly going to move up this ladder tonight. In your AM division, Chris Schultz, 2 wins on the season, going to be your leader, about 133 points over Rory. For second, Michael Peak is going to be there in third. Scott with 2 wins on the season, he is in fourth. Jonathan is going to be in fifth, Dakota Howard in sixth, Angel in seventh, Ruiz is going to be in eighth, and then Carson is going to round out your 9 drivers that started this season there in the AM division. So that is going to do it for your points and where they stand. We're going to remind you of those as we go throughout tonight, just to keep an eye, especially there in that Pro Division. Odell out doing some real racing, some real driving. He is certainly going to lose quite a bit of that points lead that he has. Now, what can we look forward today at COTA? Let's see if we can pop up a little bit about your race and where we are going to be. You can see it is 3.36 miles around this track, and you can just see by the shape of this thing, it is one heck of a track. We have got some really nice straightaways, heavy hairpin braking coming out of those straightaways. We've got some high-speed quarters, some S's there on that backside. You can see those. So this is going to be one heck of a race. And now you can see what was a nice sunny day has now turned into a dark, dark nighttime race. You can see we are already flashing those headlights, getting ready to go. Let's see if we can take a look at your qualifying. We're going to start right here in this AM division. Scott is going to be your top qualifier, turning at 8:451. Carson is going to be there in second. Rory in third. Chris in fourth. Angel fifth. Dakota, and then Michael Peak is going to round out your 7 drivers in that AM division. Now let's go over to the Pro Sport division. Kurt is going to be your pole sitter at a 7.870. Grayson right there, just, 300th behind Kurt in second. Wade in third. Houston is going to be in fourth. Patrick Rich in fifth. Nathan Brzezowski is going to be in sixth. And then Garrison is going to round out your 7 drivers there. Over to your pro division, Alex is going to be your pole sitter with Ernie Francis Jr. He is last week's winner, is going to be sitting there in second, almost half a second behind Alex. So Alex finding some tremendous amount of speed, running a 6.268 there. Jeff is going to be in third, Ben Lawrence in fourth, and then Hickman is going to round out your 5 drivers. So there you go, folks. That is going to put about 20 drivers on this track tonight. And we are going to hope, as we know, we've seen quite a few cautions and incidents last week. We are going to keep our fingers crossed for a nice, caution-free 65 minutes as these drivers now in their cars. Those headlights are on, getting ready to go around COTA. See Wade Moskowitz there in that green machine, in that BMW. Couple of drivers, I believe I seen John Houston earlier. He's moved over to that BMW, same kind of copper scheme. As always, we will go inside the lap, hop on board with one of these drivers, see what it feels like to take a GT3 car around Circuit of the Americas. Let's see if we can kind of roam around on board. Well, that definitely wasn't on board, was it? There it is. Go on board with a couple of these drivers right now with Ben Lawrence there, pacing around right behind Ernie Francis Jr. You can see Ernie Francis Jr. in that 98 machine. On board here with Wade Moskowitz. All right, it won't be long now, folks. The big storyline here, you saw Alex leading, turn quite a few laps out front last week, and then just self-spawn, put himself in the back, and that really turned that thing over to Ernie and Odell at Spa. And then, you know, that fight really ensued there. It looked like, you know, finally, Odell was able to get around Ernie. Then Ernie hopped into the pits, was able to jump back in front of him, and then was able to hold him off with some fantastic side-by-side racing. And if you have not went back and watched that race, just go right over here to the Speed Network. You can go to last week's race there at Spa. Take a look at that. Tyler and I bringing you all of that action here in the booth as we saw it unfold live and in color. And a great job by both of those drivers. I mean, some door banging, a little bit of gravel running, but they got through there with little to no damage and had one heck of a fight to that checkered flag. We are going to hope for that again tonight as they take this long parade lap around. Christina in the chat saying that COTA is a cool track. It really is. It provides a lot. You know, draft is going to come into play, heavy brake zones. You know, there's going to be some skills, some high speed, you know, S's, and then you've got some really tight turns. So there's going to be a lot of places to pass. So if you do have pace over that driver in front of you, you are going to be able to get around those cars, you know, a whole lot easier than really Spa. Spa was a really tough track to be able to pass at. This one with a little bit more opportunity there that we have seen. So going to be very interested to see. But the storylines, Christina, I think is what is most interesting when we look through these races. You know, Jeff has had, once again, just a tough season as I see that Corvette, you know, right behind your pole sitter there of Alex. We know he's got a ton of speed, but has been plagued with some incidents early on. Michael Hickman, once again, kind of a repeat of last season, really quick car, having some issues. Wade Moskowitz being able to drive some fantastic races early on this season and finally being able to pick up a win last week, and that's going to tighten that pro sport division up, which has become ultra competitive. So a lot of storylines coming around, and now you're going to have a really competitive tight points battle with Odell not here as your points leader. Ernie having 2 drop races is going to put Ernie right back in the hunt as well, since he had to miss the first 2 races. So certainly going to be interesting to see what they can do. And again, you know, we just keep our fingers crossed. We really want to look to a nice, calm, caution-free race. All right, so here we go. That pace car has tucked in. Safety car is off. Alex is going to bring these drivers down. And we are going to have a green flag in the air very soon here. 65 minutes at COTA. And there you go. On that loud pedal, looks like Alex with a pretty nice trump. He's going to have this left-hand inside line here. It's going to be the preferred line. I believe Ernie's going to try to tuck in. No, he's going to stay out, and my goodness, they are bumping and spun. That is Ben Lawrence going around. Looks like we are going to have the caution come out here almost immediately. We'll go back and take a look. I believe that was Ben Lawrence. All right, let's see if we can find out what happened here. Yeah, just nowhere to go. It just looks like everybody diving into this turn at the same time. That always happens here on turn 1. Let's go back and get another replay. All right, let's see if we can find that one more time. I just want to go back and see where everybody got into this. Here's Brzezowski. We're going to get a little bit better picture here. You can see Lawrence right in front. Now, we are looking for this Corvette that was involved. And you can see all of this wreck happening right in front of him. Oh, and he is going to come through. It looks like he might be able to save that. I do see Kurt is around. I don't see a lot of damage unless we're looking at Ben, because it does look like that might be where the most of the damage is going to come from here. So let's see if we can back this up one more time. And there has been, he is in that Jack Daniels BMW. And you can see it looks like they're going 3, almost 4 wide. And man, it just, I mean, I'm not sure who that is in the McLaren at the bottom between Hickman and Lawrence, but it looks like he's going to overshoot that turn and really push Hickman there into Lawrence. And then you just kind of have a stack up. Again, it does look like Kurt went around. Not a lot of drivers getting damaged. I don't see any front bumpers flying off. Everybody has their spoilers. We're going to take this thing back live. As now we have caught this pace car. All right, while they are going to try to get this whole situation figured out, we are going to take a commercial break and be right back with you. All right, so here we are back with you folks. Still under caution. Does look like Nathan Brzezowski may be taking that car to the pits. Looks like he is back out now. So he did go in the pits. I'm not sure if he was getting fuel, tires. Really not sure what happened to him. I didn't see a whole lot of damage on Nathan's car. But he did take a trip right down the pit lane. And now you can see just taking these long pace laps around this track. We're going to kind of try to go around and see if there might be anybody with damage. I mean, it looks like Brzezowski's going to make that thing, make it out. Grayson Trexler was the driver. You can see him there. He was the driver that was on the inside of Hickman. Looked like maybe they were trying to go 4 and he was giving room to that bottom, or maybe just got pushed out a little wide and got into Hickman. Now, it does look like John Houston is going to be in between Hickman and Trexler, but let me see if I can go over to Hickman's car, because it does look like I'm trying to find a good way to look at this front end. So you can see a little wrinkle on that left front fender. I don't see anything on the back. Maybe a little scuff there on the carbon fiber. But that is where I see all of the damage. So Michael Hickman with some pretty heavy damage to the front end of that machine already in this race. Now, he has chosen to stay out. Not sure what that is going to do for him, but you've got to think on a bigger track like this that certainly could affect him when he has to get into the draft. Scott is right there. Do not see any damage on his Porsche. You've got Moskowitz in 8th on the field. He looks to be okay. Garrison looks to be okay as well. So I believe everybody behind is going to be okay. Now, Kurt was another driver. You saw him sideways there in turn 1. It was really him and Lawrence that got the worst end of this whole deal. All right, so here we go, folks. We are going to line this thing back up now. Let's line this up for you once again. You've got Alex right there. He was your pole sitter. I believe we are going to go single file here, going into 1 since that caution happened on that first lap. Then you've got right behind him Ernie Francis Jr. Jeff Perchowski is going to be there in 3rd. Grayson Trexler is in 4th. John Houston is in 5th. Hickman is going to be in 6th with Scott in 7th. Wade Moskowitz in 8th. Garrison right there in 9th, and then Alexi is going to be in 10th on the field. All right, so here we go. We are getting ready to go. Everybody keeping a little bit of heat in the tires. You can see them moving back and forth, left to right. We are going to rack them up one more time. And, you know, that is one of the most treacherous turn 1s, just simply because of the width of the track. It is so easy, and you can gain speed on the exit if you go wide. There's a lot of speed right in the apex of the turn if you stay low. So there's really 3, 4, maybe even 5 viable lines going through turn 1. And, you know, of course, everybody's going to want to get the very most that they can get out of their cars. As soon as they can, and that is where you get a lot of those incidents there in turn 1. Oh, we've got a spin out as it looks like Grayson is going to spin that car under caution. Let's see. That is Garrison. I believe that might be Zach Garrison. No, that's not Zach. What happened here? Oh, right there is Grayson. What happened to you, Grayson? Let's go back and see. I believe maybe he was just... Yeah, might have just come off of that turn a little hot. Not really certain what happened there, folks. But looks like he is back in line. Everything is okay. He is right now leading that Pro Sport division on the track. As now you can see that pace car has turned off. Alex once again is going to lead them down. Single file they come. Does look like Ernie and Alex are side by side one another's. Now Ernie's going to be on that right-hand side. Jeff and Grayson, they're going to fan out as well. 2 by 2, they come through the turn 1. It looks like everybody is going to make it through the turn this time. Oh, Alex getting loose. That is going to leave the door for Perchowski. He is going to get that done. We've got another driver off. That is Michael Hickman getting off of the track there. I believe that was T3. Now, Alex looking to battle back. He is all over Perchowski. It looks like Perchowski's going to go wide and allow this pass. No, he's going to battle back there on the right-hand side. So I believe Alex getting a little loose is now going to fall back there to second position, and that is going to open the door for Ernie Francis Jr. to take that lead over, as now side by side behind them. Looks like everybody is going to fall in line. We're on board there. We're tracking Grayson, getting around John Houston. Right behind him, it looks like Moskowitz is starting to make a play. He is all over the back end of Houston. Yeah, it does look like Hickman has now jumped off to the pits. Now, it does look like we have a slight break, and everybody is single file. So let's see if we can go back and take a look at Hickman and what happened. Oh, he just gets loose on exit. Man, and just some pretty heavy right front damage. You know that probably broke tie rod end, something on that car, and he has hopped over to the pits. Now we're going to go back up front because Perchowski under fire now by Grayson. And right behind Grayson is Houston and Moskowitz. So in your pro sport division, Grayson, oh, we've got one around in the back. That is Dakota Howard, I believe. We'll see if we can track them down. Houston is now going to get, he is going to defend that line against Moskowitz, rather. All right, let's see if we can go back and take a look at Dakota. What happened here? Look at that Mercedes on the inside. Oh, he's just going to touch the Corvette in front of him. He's going to knock the wing, the spoiler off of that car. He is going to have to come in the pits and get some repairs done to that machine. Ernie Francis Jr., that last lap, he went purple at a 2:11. We've got all kinds of drivers going off track. You're going to see quite a few off-track penalties tonight, and that is because they can take that turn one wide and a couple of other turns. They can hop up on those curbs, and it does give them a penalty, well, a 1X for going off of the track, but you can gain a lot of speed. So you're going to see that from time to time. Now, also going purple was Scott in that AM division at a 15.9. And then you've got John Houston going purple for that Pro Sport at a 16.3. And you are going to see those lap times continue to drop as this night goes on. And one of those drivers involved in that turn one incident, Ben Lawrence, having to work his way back up. I think he finds himself in this position pretty consistently. Now trying to get around Alexi. Having to fall in line and stay in line, there is Lawrence. And I mean, all of these drivers just nose to tail with one another. We've got battles all over the track. Carson Rowland, Chris Schultz, they are all over each other. Chris, your two-time winner in that AM division. Right in front here of Carson. All right, now we have, it looks like another driver. That is a clean lap. So you can see Prochowski going, oh, Carson making the move to try to get around. And he is going to stumble a little bit and open the door there for Brzezowski. Brzezowski is going to get this pass done. And that is just going to be for position on the track, not for position in your division. Brzezowski is a Pro Sport driver. Your AM driver is Carson. But you can see that 209 for Prochowski going purple. And the reason that he is purple when Ernie and Alex are not is because Ernie or Alex probably went off track, got an off track somewhere. And that is why their laps technically would not qualify to count for a top purple lap. All right, so back on board with Houston. Has about 4/10 of a lead on Moskowitz. Now, this is going to be for second position. So Wade, last week's winner, showing a lot of speed again here tonight. Working on the back end of John Houston's car. And right behind them is going to be Scott and Ben Lawrence still arguing over this spot on the track. Your closest position battle is that Moskowitz battle, and he is going to look to the left. He's going to have to tuck back in line. I believe he had a small opening there as Houston bobbled, but it looked like Moskowitz just not able to get the power down as much as he wanted and wiggled the rear end there, slowed him down just enough where Houston's able to stay in front, and I believe that is what's happening here with Ben and Scott. And really what you want to see is Ben just stay patient. A lot of race to go. We are only 19 minutes into a hour and 5-minute race. He might be able to get this pass done now. He is going to look out to the left. Scott really driving that Porsche, and he's going to loop it. Look like just really getting into that turn extremely hard to try to stay in front of that Pro Sport driver, or that, I'm sorry, Pro driver of Ben Lawrence. And man, that took him from leading his division in a big, big way. And it looks like now he is going to get that lead cut probably in half here. Now 3.6 seconds, so still pretty sizable lead. Now Moskowitz followed off of the back end of Houston by about a car length, maybe two. And Ben Lawrence picking right up where he left off with Scott and starting to go after that green BMW of Moskowitz. Now trying to make quick work of him. He's going to get over to the left-hand side now. It does look like Moskowitz is just going to let him go. And now Alexei working his way up. Alexei, he is a pro driver. Let's see if we can fix that for you real quick. We get him on the board. I do not see him on our timing tower. We go. We're going to pop him up now. Now he's added in there. You can see he is fourth there in that Pro Sport division. And he is all over the back end of Wade Moskowitz now. So that is Alexei there. You see that PS just meaning Pro Sport. Now off to the right-hand side. He is going to try this the hard way. He's not going to be able to get that done. Moskowitz is going to hold him off for right now. But that battle's still waging on. And as it does, that's going to open the door for Patrick Rich. So this is a three-way battle for third. You've got Moskowitz in that green BMW. You got Rich on the left side of Alexei's Porsche. So this is Porsche on Porsche battle for that fourth position. And now right behind them is going to be another Porsche of Kurt. Now remember, Kurt was your pole sitter, looped it there in turn 1, and he is battling back. So he is right there behind that 95 car. Oh, let's see if we can find out what happened here. It looks like Brzezowski might have crashed again. Let's see if we can go and take a look. He's going to take that car off track. He's going to hit that sand pit. I think he is just struggling to find where that track is right now. Really difficult if it's a new track you're trying to learn and it's nighttime. As that we're going to go right back here. So Rich and Basler, I'm sorry, that's going to be Alexi and Basler. All three of these Porsches very similar in paint schemes. Rich is actually just right in front of Kurt, so Kurt was able to get that pass done. Now, that 95 car who was battling for third just a few laps ago now has fallen all the way back there to 6th position. So that is how quick things can turn on you. Now it looks like Ernie going purple there at a 6-7 over Alex. Alex not too far off. That's about a 4-second gap between your leader, Ernie Francis Jr., and that second place driver of Alex. Now trying to kill the draft is Moskowitz going down to this left-hander. Really nice, sharp turn after a long straightaway. That's why Moskowitz is weaving. Just trying to kill a bit of that draft. But I will tell you, Rich is on a different level right now. He has found a ton of speed in this Porsche. Moskowitz doing a great job just defending that line, but what that is going to do is you can see Kurt starting to sneak into the back of this two-way battle. So Rich is going to make a mistake, and that's going to open the door for Kurt. Kurt able to get that pass done. I'm not sure really what happened to Patrick Rich there. Might have just gotten a little wide coming out of that turn. Really opened the door for Kurt. Now, Rich again trying to weave around, maybe to throw Kurt off just a little bit. And that is going to work, as it looks like Rich is going to peek down to the right-hand side. He's not going to be able to get that pass done, but he is all over the back end of Basler again. And as these two continue to fight, that Porsche right behind them, and Alexi is right there in 6th. Where is Zach Garrison? Zach Garrison right now on the field is sitting 17th. 7th in the Pro Sport division. Let's see if we can go back and take a look at Zach. Let's see where Zach is. Here he is. Zach, that last lap turning a 2:14, so looks like he's off pace. Not sure, Christine, if there's some damage. I don't see any damage, but again, it's nighttime on that car. But he turned a 14 to everyone else's 9 and 8, so he is off pace considerably. So probably some damage on that car slowing him down. All right, we're going to go to this battle. We've got Rory and Angel fighting over that second position. This is in your AM division. Scott up about 4.6 seconds over these two drivers. Looking to get that third win of the season, and he is looking like he is in great shape right now. Now Roy's starting to put a gap about 2 car lengths on Angel. Angel having a really quick car down the straightaways. You can see how that Corvette pulled right up to that Beamer. If Angel can get off of those turns just a bit better and not have to check up. All right, we do show, Christina, we do show Zach Harrison as crashed. Let's go back and take a look. Let's see what happened to Zach. He does have the spoiler on that car. Front clip looks good, too. Just got in that turn a little hot. He's going to get some damage there to that left rear. Man, that might bring him down pit road. Now, he is going to be in that window to get service completed. You can see he is down pit lane. He does have that black flag, so that is probably a meatball. He's going to have some damage repaired to get himself back out on track. Now we're going to keep on with this battle. Moskowitz doing everything he can to try to hold back Kurt. Kurt really finding a lot of speed here. He wants this race. He wants this track. Looks like he has put a ton of time in practicing. He is going to get that pass done on Moskowitz. Now, right behind him is going to be Rich. So Moskowitz under heavy fire here, getting passed by Basler. Looks like Patrick is right behind him. He is all over him. BC Gaiman asking, color me curious, is that IRL superstar racer Ernie Francis Jr.? It very well is. 7-time Trans Am champion and current Lamborghini Super Drive. Yes, that is the one and the same with a 4.7 gap there on Alex. So again, Wade looks to have about a 3-car gap on Rich, but Basler is really working now, folks. He is coming up now. Right in front of him is John Houston. That is your second place driver in that Pro Sport division. So Kurt, again, your pole sitter. He still has a shot at this thing. Only 29 minutes have gone by in this race. And it looks like Ernie turned in 6.803 that last lap. Looks like Alex lost about 0.4 to him that time around. This is your tightest battle out here on the track for position. And that is really all 4 of these drivers. So you have John Houston sitting in second, the Pro Sport division. Right behind him, Kurt trying to track him down. Wade Moskowitz right behind Kurt, along with Patrick Rich and Alexi. So all of these drivers all underneath of a blanket, and all seem to be a bit quicker than Grayson Trexler might be right now. Patrick Rich did make that pass on Moskowitz. We saw that going into that turn. Now that's going to put Wade back another spot and back into the grips of one more Porsche. Rich showing a tremendous amount of speed, but I got to tell you, Kurt is getting ever so closer to the back end of Houston. I'm not sure how much John wants to fight here 30 minutes in, because you know that's going to bring Patrick Rich right into this battle. I'll tell you what, folks, as we do every time, let's hop on board here with Kurt. We're going to take a lap around. Let's see what it's like to try to track down another driver here and see if we can grab that second position away. Wow, you can really see there, it looked like a little argument over the exit of that turn. A little bit of pushing right there is now going to put Patrick Rich in front of both of these drivers. So look like John not really a fan of the way that Kurt drove that in there. And that definitely opened the door there to Rich. Now Kurt trying to find another way around, so. He's going to have a good run right here, folks. He's going to be on that right-hand side. He's not going to be able to get it done. Now John is going to block him off one more time. This one going to be a fight. Now, we do have some drivers coming down pit road. That is Ernie Francis Jr., Alex, Ben Lawrence, and Moskowitz all down pit road. You can see we're about 33 minutes in now. Perchowski is going to become your leader, overall leader right now. Grayson Trexler, he is staying out on the track. He's going to be right behind Jeff. Scott is still going to be your leader in that AM division. Scott up a little over 5 seconds to your next driver. All right, we're going to see how this is going to shake out when they come out of the pits. It looks like Perchowski starting to stretch that out over Grayson. Grayson, again, the leader in that pro sport division, but he has given up some time, folks. Oh, now Perchowski is going to loop it coming out of the turn. Oh, again, just such a good run going for Jeff. Calamity is going to bite one more time. Perchowski getting off track and looping that around. Now it does look like Kurt was able to get around John Houston. And let's see if we can go back and find that pass. Don't see where he made that pass. All right, so Kurt is going to take over that third position. Patrick Rich is still right here in second, and this is, again, in your pro sport division with Grayson Trexler. About 3 seconds up the road from these drivers. Man, single file. You can see really Kurt on a mission tonight. I just feel like he is driving an inspired race right now. All over the back end of Rich again. I'm not certain how long Kurt wants to sit back and wait. I mean, we are now 36 minutes in, so we have a little bit less than 30 minutes to go in this round 5 here at USRA. So I believe Kurt is going to be very aggressive to try to get around Rich to have a shot at Grayson, because it looks like Grayson is now starting to extend that lead a bit. All right, now Grayson Trexler is going to come down pit road, as is Basler. So very smart decision there on Kurt's part. He's going to try to pick up that position over Rich in the pits. And we are going to see what happens now. It does look like Zach Garrison, he might be calling that. No, he does have a black flag. Might be too quick on exit of pit road or too fast on entry. As now you can see that is Basler, Trexler, Houston, all down pit road here at the same time. That is going to turn this lead over to Rich. That is going to be your overall lead. But I got to tell you, Ernie is on the way, about 11 seconds behind, and he looks like Rich still has to come down pit road. So Ernie will be that overall leader. Alex will be in second, about 7 seconds behind Ernie. And let's see if we can go back to this battle, because Moskowitz now has tracked Houston back down. And now Moskowitz again trying to find a way around, and he might be able to do it. It looks like Houston is just going to pull over and let him go by. So Moskowitz is going to get that pass done. That is going to put him up to fourth. Looks like Zach Garrison has come down to serve that black flag penalty. So again, we will keep an eye on that. All right, folks, so here you go. Grayson Trexler, Kurt Basler, I believe Kurt has just found something tonight, folks. We've just watched him make pass after pass after pass. He's going to do it again. He's able to short that little two left-hand turns, able to shorten that and really get up to these drivers. And just look at the great run that he gets on the outside here. And I just don't know if Grayson's going to have anything they're going to touch. Just meeting there in the turn at the same spot. Grayson again is going to give that position up. So now Kurt working his way all the way back from that spin earlier on. Now we're going to see what is going to happen here, as it does look like Rich able to get out in front of Kurt. So now this is going to be your battle for the lead in that pro sport division, as now Kurt is going to have to set his sights here on Patrick Rich. He's going to want to get this done pretty quick. He does have Grayson right there, and he's going to get close. A little bump again, just Kurt driving with reckless abandon tonight. He wants this race. He's going to give Rich a bump, get him out of the way, and that is going to pull Rich right back in line here with Grayson. And not too far behind those two is going to be Moskowitz. So Rich still on that outlap, getting some temperature back up in those tires. And Kurt just wasting no time, no patience tonight, just going after it, has put himself in that lead position here in the pro sport division. Let's see if we can find out. There he is, Ernie Francis Jr. out front now by 8.3 seconds over Alex. Alex now up about 11 seconds over Ben Lawrence. Ben working his way all the way back to third position. Now we're going to go right back here because these fights are not over. Patrick Rich, Grayson Trexler. Oh, and they are going to touch. And that's going to open the door here to Moskowitz. Moskowitz might get a 2-for-1. And they're going to do a little door banging. A slide by the Porsche of Rich. We are moving some people out of the way tonight, folks. Moskowitz is going to get that pass done on Rich, but now Rich again getting that Porsche to turn extremely well right underneath of Moskowitz. He's just trying to get his bearings behind him, on him, and I believe he's going to be just fine, but oh, and now he's going to jump that turtle. Grayson's going to have to get off track to avoid him, and he is going to get that pass done. Now it looks like Grayson has gotten a slowdown, and Rich now has a black flag. So Rich, maybe with some wheel damage, jumping that turtle, is now going to have to come down pit road for service. I don't see anything wrong with those wheels on his car, but something is wrong. He does have that black flag, so he will be coming down pit road. Now we've got one stop there. That's Michael Peake, it looks like. Stop there on the track, and now we show Alex. Oh, and we've got a yellow flag coming out here on the field. Let's see what happened. This might be Alex. No, not really anything happening there. I think he just might have misjudged that turn, got that car just a bit sideways. But, I mean, that is certainly going to rack this thing back up. Let's see, was it Michael Peake? There he is. You can see Jeff just flashing lights at him. Peake is just going to pull over. I believe that might be where the caution is coming from. Possibly. I don't know, folks. We'll see what happens. Right now, Grayson Trexler shows to have a black flag. So we're going to see what happens here. And I'm not sure if maybe that was that slowdown that now has converted over to a black flag. All kinds of craziness going. Only 20 minutes left in this race. And it has just been a firestorm throughout this night. As you can see, Ernie Francis Jr., as always, keeping the fenders nice and clean on that car. And it looks like he is trying to track down this pace car. So right now, Zach Garrison, he's got another black flag. Christina, not sure what is going on with Zach, still on pit road. So my guess is he probably got enough damage. There's some suspension damage on that car, and he's got enough where he's having to sit down pit road and get that fixed. Now, Grayson, he has a black flag. Not 100% certain on what that one is all about. But it does look like now we have the pace car caught by your leader, I could not imagine these top three want to come down pit road. They're going to want this track position, because once we get ourselves back to green, we're only going to have a handful of minutes left to get this race done. All right, so let's take a breath, see what we've got going on here. So you've got Ernie Francis Jr. He is your leader, your overall leader on the track, and your leader there in that pro division. Alex is second. Ben right there in third. In that pro sport division, you've got Kurt wrestling that lead away, driving through that field. Wade Moskowitz right there in second. Houston is going to be in third. In that AM division, you've got Scott, your leader. Rory's going to be in second, and then Angel sitting in third. So that's your top three for these divisions, as you've got a lot of drivers still trying to catch up here to the field. And you just got to think this is a yellow flag that certainly Ernie did not want to see. I do believe that he has the pace to be able to stay out front, but you never know what is going to happen. You know Alex is going to be all over that steering wheel, as well as Ben Lawrence. Ben having to drive his way back up from that spin in T1, lap 1, able to make it all the way back up to that third position. So he is going to be hungry. You probably have some drivers that would love to get to the bumper of Kurt. Perchowski sitting back there about 6th on the grid, but 4th in that pro division. He's going to want to get past those two drivers in front of him as quickly as possible to start fighting for a lead position to move his way up into that pro division. Now you are going to the really tight races to watch here as Ernie and Alex, 1 and 2. Kurt right there in that Porsche. Moskowitz right behind him, 1 and 2 in that pro sport division. And then you got Scott in that black and white Porsche. Right behind him is Rory. So in all three of these divisions, your first and second drivers are going to be nose to tail when we go back green. All right, looks like we are going to take this thing one more time around. You can see that yellow flag still out on the field. I'm certain they are trying to get all of this straightened out. We still have a driver coming down pit road. That is going to be John Houston. John has a black flag, so I'm not sure if he is serving that. Grayson Trexler still out on the track. He has a black flag. He is right back there. Right here is Grayson. He still has a black flag. So it has not been without its fireworks tonight. You can see there's Houston trying to rejoin this race. Again, it looks like we have the lights still on this pace car, so we are not going green just yet. Now, 14 minutes to go. Let's see if we could take a little ride around. Let's see what it's like. Be in a cockpit here with, looks like maybe we can't do that. Yes, we can. We're going to see what it's like to ride on board of this Lamborghini. Let's see if we can take a look here and hop on board with your race leader. Again, just working those tires. You see the lights are now off on that pace car. That is meaning we are going back green here very, very soon. It's going to be a little bit over 10 minutes to go. We'll probably have about 12 to go. Everybody trying to get those tires nice and warm. Keep them warmed up. You certainly do not want cold tires. It does take a lap, sometimes 2 laps, depending on the track, to really get these tires warmed up on these GT3 cars. After that last tire model, it has really created the need to drive heat into these tires. That is what those drivers are doing right now. All right, just a few more turns and we are going to turn these drivers back loose. Now 54 minutes are gone, so 11 minutes left in this race. Round 5 here at COTA. All right, Alex now trying to sneak up to the outside here of Ernie. They are getting ready as now you can see that pace car coming off. We got another driver looking to come down pit road, maybe to serve that black flag. That might be Grayson, but here we go. Ernie trying to run Alex all the way down to the bottom, and he is going to do so. He is going to block that inside lane. Alex nowhere to go. He is going to have to fall back in line. And we are now going to fan out, folks, as this thing is going to get crazy. Now, it looks like Alex is going to try to do a crossover there on Ernie. Both those cars wiggling. Ernie with a great downhill is going to get that thing done. Now let's see what happens here with Kurt and Wade. This is going to be your battle for that Pro Sport. Wade not letting go to the back end here of Basler. Alex and Ernie, they are still tight within 4/10 of one another. It looks like Scott now almost has a second lead over your second place of Rory. But don't look now. Alex on the offense, now having to play some defense as Ben Lawrence has caught him. And they now 2/10 is going to separate Alex and Ben. This is going to be the battle of the BMWs here. Kurt is going to be behind them, and you can see Wade Moskowitz in that green Beamer. He is going to be there as well. Now, Ben trying to make the switch. He's not going to be able to get that done. Alex is a little savvier than that. I believe Ben is going to have to set him up the old-fashioned way just by straight pace, as now he's going to give up a couple of car lengths on Alex. Now Wade to the back end here on Kurt. Wade wants to make this thing 2 in a row. Kurt has had his elbows out all night long. You know he wants this race, and he wants this in a bad, bad way. Now 1.7 seconds is going to separate Scott and Rory in that AM division. So I believe Scott is starting to pull away from Rory at this point. This is still your tightest battle, as it looks like Kurt is putting some gap on now. We're going to go back here and take a look at Rory, as he is under fire for that second position once again from Angel. Angel looked like really had to brake hard into that first chicane, and that has slowed him way down, giving up about 6 car lengths on Rory. Right in front of Rory is Patrick Rich. And then you've got Hickman, and then you've got Scott. So looks like Rory has his hands full fighting for that second position, but Scott all but wrapped up on this thing. Now, about 7 minutes left in this race. The battle on the track right now is going to be for second overall, as Ben lost some time to Alex, but it looks like he's starting to claw his way back. 6/10 is going to separate these two drivers here on the track. Very similar lines. It looks like Ben's car looks like he's rolling through center very, very well right now, nice and free. Alex really getting into turns extremely well, really attacking the track, using every inch of it. You can just see him up on those curbs. As now Ernie starting to sneak away even more. 2.5 seconds is going to separate those two drivers. Now it looks like Grayson and John Houston is right in front of him. This is going to be a battle for 4th position in that Pro Sport division. Now 6/10 is going to separate these drivers. We've got another battle on the track, and this is not for position. This is Scott, your leader in that AM division, being tracked down here by Hickman. Hickman is going to go ahead and make this pass, getting a great run down that chute. And again, Scott just not having to worry about him. That doesn't matter to Scott at all. Just that 3.5 seconds is all that worries him. Kurt Basler, Wade Moskowitz right behind him. This is your battle, Pro Sport division. This is for the lead. It was just 7/10. It just looks like Kurt extremely well, doing extremely well in the first half of this track, is able to put a bit on him. Now, it does look like Wade, on the longer sections, is able to get closer to him. But, man, when we get in these turns, it just looks like this Porsche is handling so well right now for Kurt. Now back up front, Ben Lawrence, Alex Bieri. It does look like Alex has found a maintainable pace, about 0.8 in front of Ben. Ben pushing for everything he has. You can see that car rotating the back tires on the exit of that turn. He is trying everything he can to catch Alex. Now just a handful of minutes left, about 3 minutes to go in this race. And that last lap, Ernie Francis Jr. putting down the fastest lap of the race at a 6.51, just putting another gap on these drivers here. 4.3 seconds is going to be your lead for Francis. And Ernie, now such a great battle with Odell last week. Really flexing some muscle here this week in that Lamborghini. All right, let's go back and take a look at Scott, who has now run Hickman back down. Half a second separates those two. And as we look at that, Angel finding a ton of speed here. He is all over the back end of Roy. Now you got Perchowski, which is a pro driver that's right behind Angel. So he's going to want to get through and pass Angel pretty quickly. But Angel really wants him just to hang back so that he has a shot at getting the second position. But man, while all this is going on, this driver right here, Ernie Francis Jr., once again, I believe it was 5 wins last season, maybe even 6 wins last season, looking to make it 2 in a row this season. Picking up that great win there at Spa. Really working this car around this track here at the Circuit of the Americas. Now that gap over 5 seconds. You can just see it on the track too, just out there by himself, turning laps. Kurt still up a good amount on Wade, about 1.6 seconds, so that battle has cooled as well. Perchowski looks like he has gotten by Angel, but I believe that's going to pull Angel off of the back end there of Rory. So Rory looks like he's nice and safe there in second position. Here he comes, just a few more turns to go. Round 5 here at USRA. Another one in the books for this driver. Ernie Francis Jr. is going to pick up your win in that pro division here at the Circuit of the Americas. And there he is, Kurt Basler, picking up the fantastic win in the pro sport division. And going for number 3, Scott. Put another one on the board for Scott here in that AM division. What a great job by all of these drivers. Late race caution, throwing a monkey wrench in it. Looked like everybody kind of had things settled. Caution bunching everybody up together once again. Really created a nice tight race for that last 11 minutes, but looks like all of those drivers that had those positions early on, once again able to keep those leads and secure the win for themselves. So you've got Ernie Francis Jr., Alex, and Ben. They're going to be your 1, 2, 3 there in that pro division. In the pro sport, Kurt, Wade, and Grayson. Oh, I'll tell you what. It looks like Grayson coming back to third was quite the drive for him. And then in that AM division, Scott, Rory, and Angel are going to round out your top three. Christina saying, yeah, so many black flags. Yeah, there were a lot of black flags, and I'm not certain if those were race-controlled issued flags or if they were damage needing to come in. I think it might be race control issued. We'll get a little bit more information about that later on, and we can talk about that next week. But there was really big pileup in that first turn. Good thing that everyone has a fast repair, able to get back out on the track and battle. Really good battle there by Ben Lawrence and Alex toward the end of that race. All right, so let's see if we can pop up some results for you. We're going to start with that AM division. So there you go. There are your 7 drivers and how they finished. Now moving on to that pro sport division, we've already talked about these drivers. Rich is going to finish 4th. Houston, Garrison, Lexi, and Brzezowski are rounding out your 8 drivers. And then in that pro division, past those 3, Hickman finishing 4th. Perchowski is going to round out your 5 drivers. All right, so there you have it. Now, let's see if we can back this thing up a few laps like we always do, and then we're going to just slow her down and see if we can find some of your drivers to have some conversations with. And let's see if we've got anybody out here in chat. Now, we do have Scott. Let's see if we can bring Scott up. Scott is your winner in that AM division. Scott, this John in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, John, how's it going?
Man, it's going great. Congratulations on another win there in the AM division. That's going to be 3 on the season for you. Look like you got out to a nice little lead there. Had some really nice battles with some other drivers in other divisions, but looks like once you got that lead and got a good gap, never looked back, had that late race caution. But man, this thing never in doubt for you. Walk me through your race.
Yeah, I mean, I qualified surprisingly well. I put together a really good lap on my 3rd one, and that was able to get me up near the top 10 overall. And just after that, I did have an incident where I spun, and I thought, oh no, but I was able to kind of keep up with some people. There were some good battles I had, and I was following one of the pro drivers through, and it just felt like a good race, man. The night threw me off a little bit, but you know, it was all fun.
Yeah, and it did look like you were having a blast out there, certainly mixing it up with a couple of those other drivers in those other divisions. But congratulations. That is 3 races out of 5 halfway through this season. How do these last 5 or these other 5, if you will, tracks look like they're going to shape up for you?
Honestly, I think they're gonna look good. I don't I'm not sure if they have released the mod's choice yet, but I really love Barcelona and the Red Bull Ring. I'm excited to get out there for that. So
Fantastic. Well, we're going to see if you can put 3 more on the board on this back half. But congratulations on picking up another win here in that AM division. Scott, man, we'll turn it over to you and let you give your shout outs.
yeah, I mean, I just got to give a shout out to everyone for some clean racing out there. There was a couple cautions, but everyone seemed to have good respect for each other, and it was honestly just a good drive overall by everyone. So just shout out to everyone for keeping it clean.
You got it, Scott. And congratulations once again. And we will see you next week.
All right, thank you very much.
All right. So there is your winner in that AM division. Now, let's see if we can talk to Kurt. We're going to have to come up with some sort of nickname for Kurt. He chose violence tonight, and I really want to talk to him. But what a fantastic job by this driver. Kurt, this is John in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, John, I'm right here.
Hey, so we were talking about you all the way throughout the night and how you just chose tonight just to take an aggressive approach, to take those passes where you could get them. Qualified on the pole, got spun in turn one, had to come all the way back to the lead. And man, what an aggressive, fantastic drive by you. Walk me through your night.
Yeah, I got spun on turn one. I think maybe Ben collected me and turned up in the last spot. Um, yeah, I was lucky. I think something else happened behind me, and I started picking up some spots. But yes, I apologize. I was a little aggressive in two or three passes, but got back up to the front, so feeling good.
Well, you really did, and you had a really quick car all throughout the night, even working through. You had a great qualifying, and then had a really nice run coming back through that field, and just a really impressive drive for you. Is this one of those tracks that you put a lot of effort and practice into, or is this just one of those things that just hit your driving style tonight?
I have driven this quite a bit, but it's not one of my favorite tracks. It does start flowing after you do it for a while. So, but Wade was giving me a good run for my money, and a few other guys out there as well. So I think I was fortunate. Some things happened behind me and got through.
Well, not only did you get through, but you put a win on the board here in that pro sport division. Congratulations on a great run, Kurt. And we'll turn it over to you, man, and let you give your shout outs to anybody that you want to thank here.
Thanks to everybody here, you, John. It's an awesome league. Second time around for me, and we'll continue on, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yep, a heck of a job. Congratulations on another win here. Look forward to seeing what you can do on the back half of this season. But again, picking up that win tonight, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so there is your winner of that pro sport division. Now, let's get to your overall winner, Mr. Ernie Francis Jr. Let's see if we can bring him in the booth. Ernie, this is John. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Well, listen, man, this almost seemed like it was a vacation for you with such a great battle that you had last week at Spa to come out here, really flex your muscle. You took it into turn one, did what you had to do to get that lead, and just started rattling off fast lap after fast lap. Really just kind of walk me through it. And, what do you think about this? Have you driven this Lamborghini on iRacing a lot?
Yeah, so overall, pretty solid race for us there. Kept it clean the whole time, and just kept the car on the track, which is a big thing around here with the strict off-track penalties around COTA. The Lamborghini, I've had a decent amount of time in it on iRacing, not as much as I used the Porsche that I ran last year, but I've run it a lot, and with the new update and everything, I find that I drive a little bit better in the Lamborghini right now. Plus, it's when I'm racing in real life, so it kind of I don't know, translates a little bit more, and I think it's pretty cool to race the same car that I'm racing in real life. But yeah, solid night for us.
Yeah, it really was a good solid night, and it looked like, you were getting quicker and quicker. I believe you turned your purple lap really on that last stint, after that caution. When you went in and pit, did you take tires on that pit stop?
Yeah, I took tires. I figured with the um, how long the track is and all these long sweeping corners, the tires are really getting pretty used. So yeah, took tires. I had a decent gap over P2 at that point, so I knew I didn't have to worry too much about the timing of it. And then we had that unfortunate caution for whatever it was, whether it was a competition caution for for entertainment or not. But bunched us all back up again, made for an interesting restart, and then just had to get focused up and run some laps to keep it in the front.
Yeah, it really did make an interesting restart. Is it looked like Alex trying to shoot down to that inside wall? You had to kind of make a move there to block him, but once you hit that run downhill after T1, it was just set sail again. But picking up your second win on the season in 3 races. So really great for you. We've got 5 more races on the back half of this season, and we got 2 drop races. So you are right back in the battle on this thing. I believe Odell is racing in real life, so he wasn't able to attend, but really look forward to what you're going to do. Have you seen the schedule on the back half?
Yeah, I've been looking at it a little bit. I'm excited for it. I think we should be able to get in that championship hunt. I'm going to be missing one more race, unfortunately, when I have to go over to Misano, Italy for my real life racing for the Lamborghini World Finals out there. Um, but I'll be there for all the other races. So try to do the best that we can, try to rack up as much points as we can on all the races that I am here, and see where it puts us at the end of the season. But overall, good race. It was fun. Um, thanks to the series for putting it on. Um, happy we were out there. Just got to work on some of the officiating stuff with some cautions, and I don't know. People were a little bit upset at that final restart there, trying to go too wide on the on the run up to the start when it's a single file restart. So some pretty interesting stuff going on in this one. I think it should make for the rest of the season to be pretty entertaining. So we'll see how the tempers flare as the season goes on.
Yeah, and as well as I do, because you do it in real life as well. All of these drivers, the competitive nature comes out in all of these drivers, and that happens, and sometimes family fight, but here we are, and like you said, it's going to make a very interesting remainder of the season. But congratulations on picking up another great win tonight. I believe your tally should be 8, I think 7 or 8 so far for these 2 seasons. So congratulations. Anyone else you want to thank tonight?
Just got to thank the guys over at Subpar Motorsports. Had to hold it down for them tonight. My teammates Zachary Garrison and Carson Rowland had a little bit rougher night than we did, so held it down for the team. Hopefully they'll bounce back and be stronger at the next one.
Well, you did a heck of a job, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.
Yep, thank you.
All right, folks, there is your leader and winner, overall winner tonight, Mr. Ernie Francis Jr. So, fantastic race. You heard Ernie. Going to be some conversations had in the Discord, but that's always part of the fun of it, is to get the drama. You want to see these drivers really race it out here on the track. They did exactly that. And, sometimes tempers flare because you lose out on that deal. But I got to tell you, that's what makes this racing really fun to call. It's what makes these races fantastic. And not only did we have a great one tonight, but you can guarantee we are going to have a fantastic race next week. Hopefully, if you have not, you have hit that like button on tonight's broadcast. We certainly would appreciate that. Subscribe if you have not done that. And we are going to talk to you all next week.